Now we are going to be looking at section 13.2, which is the volume of pyramids. Let's look at the formula first. So found on your Keystone formula sheet, this is your volume of pyramid. So it's 1/3 area of the base, whatever the base of the pyramid is, times the actual height of the pyramid. Keeping in mind that the actual height of the pyramid is found from the line formed by starting at the top of the pyramid and going to about the center of the base of the pyramid. So let's look at a few examples. So this first one, we are going to find the volume of the square pyramid. So the volume formula is 1/3 base area times height. Let's look at what we are given on our picture. So this again is a square pyramid. So this would also be 3. And this 7 is representing the actual height of the pyramid. It's starting at the top and going to the middle of the pyramid as opposed to going to a side. So let's go ahead and substitute in. So 1/3, the base area here, this is a square again. So that base area would be 3 squared times my height, which is 7. And you can just type this all into your calculator. You can do this as like 3 squared times 7 and then divided by 3. That's the same as multiplied by 1/3. And you would get 21 cubic inches, since we are now looking at volume. 21 cubic inches. Let's look at this next one. So find the volume of the pyramid again. This time the pyramid's a little slanted, but that's okay. This 16, the line is still starting at the top and not going to the side of the pyramid. So 16 is still representing the height of the pyramid, and each side of the pyramid is 15. Again, this is going to be a square pyramid. So the volume is 1/3 base area times height. 1/3 15 squared for that square base times the height of 16. And that, if you multiply that all together, will give you 1,200 cubic inches for that volume. Okay, moving on. So let's take a look at this example. So we want to find the volume of the square pyramid. Okay, so that means the base is a square, so this is also 9 yards to the nearest 10th. What they're giving me here, though, is they're giving me the slant height, and I still need to find, trying to draw it in, what would be the regular height. So I'm going to make my own right triangle here, and I'll redraw it up here. So what I know is the slant height is 10. I need to know the regular height, and keep in mind that if I draw in this triangle, this length here is going to be half of what the side is. So half of 9, and I'm just going to use decimals to make it easier to work with the Pythagorean theorem here in a second, is going to be 4.5. Okay, so now we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So h squared plus 4.5 squared equals 10 squared. So then I get h squared plus 4.5 squared is 20.25 equals 100. If you subtract that, you get h squared equals 79.75. Take the square root of that. And since this is already as a decimal, we will go ahead and take the square root and we'll keep a decimal, and we'll just round at this point to the nearest hundredth, just so our answer is a little bit more exact. So this height rounded to the nearest hundredth would approximately be 8.93. And that's what we're going to use in our volume formula then. Okay? So volume is 1/3 base area times height. So that's 1/3. The base area here would be 9 squared. And the height that we just calculated is approximately 8.93. And then if you go ahead and multiply all of that, you get a volume. Now we'll round our answer to the nearest 10th of 241.1 cubic yards. Okay. One last example with volume. So another pyramid, this pyramid's just flipped upside down, which that's okay. Let's take a look at what we know about this pyramid first. So first of all, this is not a square pyramid. Notice that one side of my pyramid is 6 yards and my other side is 8 yards. So this is a rectangular pyramid. The only thing that's going to change is the calculation for the area of my base. Okay. And then also notice that this 5 yards given here is actually my slant height. It's starting here, starting here and then going to the side of the pyramid. So I'm going to redraw this right triangle cross section that they're showing. So I know that the slant height is 5. I need the actual height again. And this side of my triangle is going to be half of the side that it's parallel to. So it's going to be half of 6, not half of 8. And half of 6 is 3. Okay, now we'll go through Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus h squared equals 5 squared. 9 plus h squared equals 25. H squared equals 16. And the actual height is 4. So this is a 3, 4, 5. That's a common Pythagorean triple. And I know that the actual height of my pyramid then is 4. So now we should have enough information for our volume. So 1/3 base area height. 1/3. When we're calculating the base area here, since it's a rectangle, rectangle is just length times width. So that's just going to be 6 times 8. Okay, doesn't matter the order there. And then times that height that we found, and that's 4. So I just want you to keep in mind that this 6 times 8, that's my base area. That's where that's coming from. Okay, and then that height of 4. So if I multiply that all out, I get a volume of 64 cubic yards for this pyramid. And that is all for pyramids.